Welcome to Countdown to Infinity, a Marvel's Avengers podcast. We talk all things
Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yep, that's it. I was about to say a galaxy far, far away because of our Star Wars pod.
I mean, kind of both, right?
I guess so.
Technically a galaxy.
That's true. Dimensions. Celestials.
Ooh, yes.
My name's Emmanuel.
My name is Sofia.
And we're back from a long break to talk about a new Marvel Cinematic Universe movie, Captain America Brave New World.
Wow.
A Valentine's Day release.
Aww, happy Valentine's Day.
Did you ever say Valentine's Day instead of Valentine's Day?
No, I'm not dumb.
Okay.
Did you?
No, I was just asking for a friend that you don't know.
Right.
This is this is the fourth Captain America movie.
Which is crazy to me.
Yeah.
I feel like, I don't know, actually, I feel like there's been more than 4, but it's probably just because Steve was in so much stuff.
I know. I thought it was so funny.
Always there.
Chris Evans said that they asked him if he would come back as Captain America, and he was like, well, I'm happily retired, and I don't know. And I was like, you were just in Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yeah, you're not retired.
That was less than a year ago, fam. You are not. He acted
He
like
said, I'm happily retired.
He was like, well, I don't know if I can do it ever again. And I'm like, dude.
You just did.
You just did. Not that long ago. Anyways, but yes, this is the fourth Captain America movie.
Yes.
The first with Anthony Mackie playing the lead captain as Sam Wilson, but not his first time leading a piece of MCU anything, because he was, of course, in Falcon and
Winter Soldier.
Yeah, Falcon and Winter Soldier show, which we watched every episode. Didn't we do like a watch along?
We sure did, yeah.
And that was really, really fun.
That was crazy.
I think I really like the two of them together.
I do. There was a lot of broness to that. To the show and also to this movie.
Introduced Danny Ramirez to us as well.
Yes. I mean, I think just anywhere Anthony Mackie goes, it's going to be like a bro. You know what I mean? Like, he just brings
it's
that
a different
bro
energy, definitely than Chris Evans.
Yeah.
To Captain America.
Oh, for sure. I feel like Anthony. I mean, I guess we can't talk about it too much, but
yeah. Oh, yeah. Before we get into it, this is a spoiler-free episode. Just the first reactions.
Yes.
So don't worry if you haven't watched the movie. We're just going to talk about some of the things we enjoyed about it without getting into the details. We will have another episode full on with the boys where we talk about everything, and there's a lot of that
that's
stuff
gonna
too.
be perfect for y'all, to be honest.
Yeah.
You're gonna have a lot of things to relate to.
Yeah, you just said there was big bro energy. Same.
Big bro.
We'll be John and Drew and I are gonna be doing some crunches.
Right. In the gym when you
working
record
working on our lats.
Either in the gym or in the strip club, you know what I mean?
I know. I mean, I'll say this in Captain.
So not really that much different compared to where you record the other pods.
Oh yeah. Isaiah Bradley, Carl Lumbly, the first Captain America, is in this as well, and even he has way more. He's more muscular than me. He's older too.
Yes.
This is an actor who is in his 70s.
Prime.
Who can kick my ass very easily.
Uh-huh.
I would say this, maybe even Harrison Ford, who's in this movie too, probably could.
Yeah.
Blaine Thunderbolt Ross. But yeah. Okay, we just came out of the movies. We came out of watching this film.
Yeah, about 10 minutes ago.
What are your first reactions?
I've already forgotten.
Overall thoughts
just kidding.
about Captain America Brave New World.
This very much felt like old MCU with all of the fighting and all of because I feel like it's been a hot minute since we've seen like a true like MCU OG like Avengers type.
It's been a long time since we haven't left this dimension or this planet.
Yes. So frankly,
Earth. Earth 616, which is the MCU dimension. Of
yes, we
Earth.
We stayed on Earth. So it's actually kind of boring. I'm just kidding. No. It was actually not nostalgic so much, but it definitely felt like the old Captain America vibes that I would get in the theaters. A lot of crazy scenes, a lot of the thrills of the fights and so on and so forth. So yeah, it was nice.
Yeah. There's a lot of political intrigue, the political thriller from even.
But that comes with the Captain territory.
Yes, and I think it's a lot of it is going to be dependent on what you expect from a Captain American movie. Of course, we got the great patriotic First Avenger.
Yeah.
But then we got the Russo brothers kind of in their bag, doing the Winter Soldier, doing Civil War, which was kind of an Avengers movie. But also, so much of it is exploring the past and sins of, sometimes sins of the father, things sneaking up on you, secrets.
Yeah.
Government secrets.
So many
Hydra, Hail
secrets.
Hydra.
Yeah.
Those are the things that come from these Captain America films.
Yeah.
And there's still a lot of that in this, but with a different flavor. I think partially because so much has happened in this world already. It's just crazy to think about the fact that half of the world has disappeared. There's I can't even name the different groups of supervillains, running around the Earth, and then in space we got S.H.I.E.L.D. happening. There's there's a lot that they're going through, and I do enjoy when we kind of focus in on our great country in these Captain America films and what will we do
it's kind
as the United States of America. Overall, I enjoyed Anthony Mackie as Sam Wilson. I think there's moments where you can tell he's sort of going through filling Captain America's shoes. Although the show also explored that quite a bit. It's actually a huge part of the show because there's another Captain America.
What?
And who we may see we will see in Thunderbolts. But there's a lot of that happens in the show, so I wasn't sure how much of that they were going to address in this movie because it's the first time he's headlined his own movie.
Yeah.
And I think he did a fine job. And there's moments where I thought they were going to really lean heavily into that. But then I thought, well, they dealt with this kind of already. So it shouldn't all be about it. And I'll say, I wasn't expecting Harrison Ford, although Harrison Ford is a leading man actor who is, one of the greatest actors and maybe one of the most recognizable names in a big movie. But I wasn't expecting him to have such a giant role in the movie. I'd say he's like the second lead as Thadeus Ross in the film. And that kind of took me by surprise, but I really enjoyed it, and I loved watching some of that. And when you say it felt old school, not only do you have Captain America, but we're definitely talking about Edward Norton's Incredible Hulk.
Yes,
because that was important to the movie too.
I wasn't expecting it to play out the way that it did because of the trailer. I thought that the trailer was kind of leaning towards a different route for the film, so I was pleasantly surprised with how everything turned out.
I sort of wished I didn't watch the trailer before.
Really?
It's hard because we watch trailers all the time.
Really?
But I, without spoiling too much, some of the most critical moments of the movie are in the trailer.
Yes. Yeah.
So that kind of, it didn't bum me out.
Right.
But sort of when you saw some of the imagery or some of the locations.
Yeah.
Like it took you a second to be like, oh, I remember that from the trailer.
Yeah.
So I kind of know what's about what's about to happen. But and also, can you imagine if you were watching Captain America: Brave New World and you saw some of the but can you imagine watching it and seeing some of the
I know what you're getting
but
at.
like overlapping some of the stuff from the Incredible Hulk, and
like,
you're like, oh, that's interesting.
Connecting the dots.
Yeah, you're starting to connect dots, and then you're like, oh my gosh!
And then the big thing happens.
The big stuff happens.
Yeah.
And instead, you're kind of like, okay, we're getting to that part, and it's getting really big. But it's fine. I digress. Trailers are trailers. It's not really our. And I will say there are still some other really interesting, but really surprising moments too.
Yes.
And I think some very heartfelt stuff that you kind of don't, that you definitely don't expect. Or maybe you do expect. I don't know.
It just deepens the broness.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's all I'll say about that.
What did you think of Harrison Ford as President Thunderbolt Ross?
First of all, President Ford, like in general, like would always have my vote. Like anytime he plays a president, it's going to be it's going to be me that's going to vote for him. So I'm on board. He looks damn good in a suit, right?
Yeah. You trust him too.
I do.
He's got a lot of charisma. He's got riz.
Yeah, he does. No, but I think that just based off of where we knew Ford from before versus now, he gained my trust back without spoiling too much. And I was about it. I mean, again, like the trailer really had my mind going somewhere else coming into this film. But yeah, no, I'm happy with how it turned out because it makes me feel all warm and fuzzy inside.
And his character is so important because, I mean, especially with a relationship with the Hulk.
Yes.
But the actor William Hurt from the first Incredible Hulk film passed away. And
R.I.P.
And it's not to say that, because Marvel's replaced actors all the time.
Yes.
You know, they replaced. Yeah.
Or they just CGI them in.
Yeah, it's not uncommon, but it was sort of a bigger deal, I think, because of that. And I thought he did a fantastic job. And like you said, him in a suit, you automatically just assume he's some kind of
Powerful.
Yeah, it's very powerful, and he does a great job too. And he's a complicated character, more complicated than you maybe would expect from sort of the president of the United States.
Yes.
And that was really cool. What about Danny Ramirez?
Oh, is Joaquin?
Yeah, playing Joaquin or Falcon.
Please.
A discovery from the show, but.
Yeah, all day long.
A discovery for a wide audience in this movie.
Day long. I love his. I mean, their chemistry is really cool. I mean, when I say that it's bro heavy, it's because of them. Like their energy is just together.
They spend a lot of time together, but it's the Evans Mackie thing. It's the Captain America and the Falcon.
Yeah, it's supposed to be that same relationship, but like different for them.
Some would say a young version.
Ooh.
Young Avengers.
Damn. No, but I do think that he kind of carries the charm a little bit in their relationship, right? Because, not Falcon, but old Falcon is Anthony Mackie is always so serious because his head is always just in that game. You know what I mean?
He knows now. Like,
he
sort
knows
of the symbol that he has to be.
All the pressure for sure. Like there's a lot that he's like the legacy is going on with him, you know? So there's a lot of things that he understands and he's responsible for. And then you can get Joaquin, who's kind of like this comedic, like, oh, okay, buddy, I'll follow you. You know, like a golden retriever, just kind of happy to be there.
Super hungry.
Yes.
To be.
And eager. Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. He's wanting a piece of that too. But I think their relationship is really cool. They kind of balance each other out, right? So that's nice. And then also for him to be such like a techie guy, I feel like that's a huge benefit too.
Yeah, and especially when there's not outside of the Avengers, there's not a lot of that role to fill. And it's nice now that, you know, at least for Captain America, he's got a sidekick.
Yeah.
And it's semi part of the military.
Right. And I was going to say, like, it's kind of both of his worlds, right, that he needs in that one relationship because it's like part of being a team again.
Yeah.
But then, he has that military background too. So I'm telling you, bro.
Speaking of military and someone who kind of broke up some of the bro energy.
What?
Is the actress Shira Haas, who played Ruth, a former Black Widow assassin. Yes. And we loved her in Unorthodox.
Yes.
But she's really a good addition, I think, too. And sort of incredibly mysterious to begin with.
Yeah, she has a really strong kind of like even, I think, like, just her physical appearance because she's short, she's petite, right? She can come off kind of, you know, not as intimidating. But then when she speaks and her body language, like you can tell, like her whole demeanor is changing.
Yeah, I like when her hands are in her pockets and.
Like you can tell she's just a boss.
Yeah,
and
I like when her hands are in her pockets.
Right.
That's nice.
When that happens, you're like, oh shit. No, I'm just kidding. But no, she's a really cool. And again, like. Just with the whole storyline, like I was not expecting for her character to do what her character did. So,
and we can't really talk about more people from the cast because it's big spoiler territory. Territory. I think there's a lot of this movie too that is, if I'm being honest, felt a little. Oh, I'm just saying. Oh. I don't know how to describe some of it because it
perfect done.
No, well, it spends.
Thank you so much for listening.
It spends a lot of time setting up some certain moments that are going to be important later. It's also trying to kind of amp up the mysteriousness of what's happening a couple times.
Yes,
but I never felt it was that
mysterious.
Not mysterious, but. Or that complicated, you know.
Well, to be honest, we knew what was happening the whole time as it was happening. The movie,
there was a lot of suspense.
The characters in the movie just didn't know what was happening.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So like, there was a lot happening.
Mm-hmm.
That we could never work for the government. My God, the way that we're dancing around.
Yeah.
Describing
and
this.
a lot of this would have to be very spoilery, I guess, to
Yeah.
dive into fully. But I wasn't overly impressed sort of with the puppet master, some of the puppet master stuff that happens.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Like it wasn't that complicated. I feel like someone would have figured it out. It wasn't that much subversion, I guess.
Well, someone did figure it out.
I know. But I mean, I feel like I would have figured it out in like a month of some fishy stuff happening.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess we'll talk about that later.
Also, I didn't realize that Joaquin and Cap had been working together for 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
They said it's been 3 years. I was like, dang.
That is, yeah.
That's not that long.
That's new.
I feel like that's really soon.
And working together is also very limited, I think. It's not, because on...
Not based on their setup. The setup that
I know, they have
shown,
a really good setup, but then early on,
damn.
he has to ask permission to kind of be, to do some of the Falcony stuff. So it's like, okay, well, he's not full. He's not a full member yet, but soon, I guess. But yeah, and and that was the other thing. I could tell some things were meant for later.
Yeah,
which is 100%. A little annoying. I mean, not later in the movie. I mean, like later in the MCU.
Down the MCU, yeah.
Which is
agreed.
Which is okay, but sometimes I'm like, okay, well, this person was in this movie for maybe 6 minutes total.
Yes,
like this big actor is in this movie for 6 minutes total, and there's not a ton of resolution. So I guess this is for later. Yeah,
and then they leave.
And then you also, I mean, I read some articles prior that it was a very tense set, Captain America 4.
Why?
And there was a lot of reshoots, maybe more than normal, like a ton of reshoots, and a lot of it involved trying to set things up for later. Which is fine, but also I hope and they've already said they're going to slow down a lot of the TV shows on Disney Plus, and at some point slow down some of the movie output. But maybe this is prior to that. Like it still feels like they're trying to force in some stuff,
some things,
for later. And and I would say big things. and now that I'm thinking about it, so much, actually.
I know what you're talking. Yes,
like 10, so much stuff. Not even just the after credit thing, but like so much of this movie feels like the middle part of something, which is unfortunate sometimes when you're like the first Captain America movie in years.
It's like the Ant-Man movie.
Oh, yeah, a lot like that. And then I guess that's just kind of the last phase of MMCU stuff, where you're constantly trying to grasp at something solid, and everything just like smoke was just a mirage for the next thing, and you're like, oh, okay. Anyways,
we need like an Endgame type of movie again.
Maybe.
You know what I mean? Like when everything just finally comes together and all the puzzle pieces are laid out in front of us in a dramatic way.
The big thing is they're just giving us part ones.
Yeah,
but
that's the thing.
They're giving us like 100 part ones. I don't even think that all of this is coming back around.
I don't think all of it is. No.
Okay.
So
watch this movie.
It's a good thing we're recording podcasts about it.
I know.
So in case they do come back, we'd be like, wait a minute.
Overall, I'm still really happy we got an Anthony Mackie Captain movie.
Oh, for sure.
I think it's fun to have Danny Ramirez, in it. I think it's fun to have, and this isn't a spoiler, I guess it's in it's fun to have a Hulk, a Red Hulk.
And again, right?
Yeah.
Well, and I also think that it's nice to have some emotion tied to this character. I mean, Cap always has emotion tied to them, right?
And anger. I mean, Chris Evans, Captain America, a little angry too.
Yeah, kind of like revengeful, right? Because
Yeah.
the government did.
And also, they stole his life from him. So I guess
they did. Yeah, he was asleep for a long time. I think just Anthony Mackie brings so much emotion to his version of Cap. That's kind of get more relatable than Steve Rogers, right?
Very human.
Superhuman.
Literally.
Yes. And I think just he's the sweetest person, and because we know his backstory now and like everything that he came from,
you
and like
gain so much if you watch
struggles.
If you watch Falcon and Winter Soldier,
yes,
you would gain so much more from
so much more respect for him.
Yeah.
Because he's he has like a whole personality that is just built on strength, resilience, perseverance. Like and that's the bro.
Always finding the good.
Yes.
In Captain and Winter Soldier, Falcon and Winter Soldier, he's always kind of trying to protect Bucky from himself sometimes. And you're just, man, when other people would have turned away, you stay.
It's like a therapy session almost, like it's just.
And he is an OG Avenger, I think now, and that's huge too, especially for where the MCU is now. He's the guy that says on your left. So like, come on, he's maybe like, and he is a hero to everyone in Earth and not just in America. But it's a really big deal that he's still around.
There's a reason Steve chose him. That's all I'm gonna say about that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Any final thoughts on Captain America: Brave New World? Without spoiling it, of course.
Right. Go watch it. I think it's going to be great for everyone. There's a couple of curse words, so be careful with your children.
He loves this the poop bad word.
Relatable.
Yeah.
But it has the action that is gonna come with the Captain.
You're worried about cuss words? I think they like shoot people, like a lot of people.
Yeah,
point
that
blank.
happens too.
Yeah.
But no, it has a lot of action. It feels very much like a Cap movie. A lot of bromance, man. I can't get over it.
It's about friendship.
It is about friendship.
It's about dudes being dudes.
Friendship, bros, and forgiveness.
Yeah.
So
get ripped.
Yeah.
And then get
just
closure.
Yeah, do some push-ups before and after this movie. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Well, it's my favorite movie, obviously sponsored by GMC. GMC trucks. Get the new electric EV Hummer. That's my main takeaway. No, I really kept thinking about. I kept thinking about Captain America, not just Steve Rogers, but I kept thinking about who he is as like a hero for the MCU, and thinking about how Sam Wilson is just navigating that is super interesting, and I think it's also one of the most. Well, I say that, and then I think of the Skrulls.
Yeah.
So I can't even say that. But I was going to say it's maybe like one of... Because, man...
I literally forgot about the rest of the universe because this was just focused...
Yeah, that's true.
This was just honed in on America.
Well, I was about to say it's the most sort of geopolitical, high-stakes, possible war type of... thing we've gotten from the MCU, but then we're like, oh no, shoot, there are Skrulls who are all pretending to be presidents.
Yes.
And then there was a Sokovia Corps, which they mentioned in this, but was like the whole reason for Age of Ultron. So never mind.
Right.
But he's still wrestling with that stuff. I mean, there's some moments where he's still like, oh my gosh, like who am I? Who am I? And who do I answer to? And what if I don't agree with the order from the all that stuff is still something that. I mean, just because of the symbol of Captain America, it sort of doesn't matter who he is. It could be Rogers, it could be Wilson, but either way, you're like, wait, who do I listen to? So that's just a common thing, I guess.
I think with him, he's just trying to follow his heart because, like, it's hard to be Cap.
And that's what Steve Rogers did.
And also, I mean, for Sam, it's like, okay, but who am I to make that decision? You know what I mean? Like, he even thinks about that.
Yeah.
So... it's crazy.
It's a fun movie.
Yeah.
There's twists and turns, and even though we just talked about how a lot of it you see prior in the trailer, there's still quite a bit that you're that especially when it comes to who's pulling a lot of the strings and all of that, that's still really intriguing to watch. And if you're fans of Incredible Hulk, if you're fans of the Eternals, and if you're fans of Captain America, of course.
Boy, do we have a movie for you.
Boy. And if you're fans of Thunderbolts, right? In a way.
I mean, sure.
Because there's still like some government stuff happening.
Sure.
There will be black SUVs driving around in that.
Maybe Hummers?
I'm sure. Maybe Hummers. Oh, who knows? Yeah, go watch it. And then we're going to have a spoiler-full episode. There's definitely a lot of Easter eggs.
Yes.
We didn't talk spoilers this ep, but there's... quite a bit of connection to the rest of the MCU.
We tried really hard not to say anything spoiler because That's the gist of the movie, though. Like, it just is a lot.
We're not even talking about like how the bad guy does his stuff, like, because that's crazy. We can't.
Yeah.
But yeah. So listen out. Look out for that on your phone, and then listen out, and then turn out.
Ooh.
That's right.
Turn it out.
Listen out.
Bring them out.
Look out.
Bring them out.
Turn out, and then come out.
Oh shit.
Come out here. And let's see, and then get out.
Okay.
Get out. Jordan Peele. Get out.
Okay.
And then far out. Far out, man.
Come on, one more. You got one more in you. Go all out.
Inside.
What?
Inside out.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Listen to your emotions.
Circled back. Ooh!
Oh, what do you have to plug, Sophia?
Just thank you, everyone, for hanging in there and being patient, because Marvel's barely giving us some carrots, man. So thank you so much for listening and hanging in. If you want to follow me on any socials, you sure can.
Hang out.
Everything is at, there you go. I was waiting for it. Everything is at _ Simply Sophie, SOFIEE.
We'll have more Marvel stuff. You know, there's a whole season of What If we haven't seen. I watched X-Men 97 and it just won some more awards.
You're right.
That's a really good show too. Speaking of X-Men, the X-Men are in the MCU.
They are.
But I was gonna do a thing for Fantastic Four too.
What?
Because Fantastic Four is coming out in the summer. So.
I mean, we'll talk about it when it comes out.
Yeah, we'll talk about it when it comes out. Yeah. But I was like, are there X-Men in that? And I was like, I don't think so.
I don't know. We haven't seen it yet.
We haven't seen it yet. That's tough. That's tough. Thanks so much for listening. We'll be back soon. Bye.
Bye.